Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another night of Heroes Lounge action. Tonight we are in Division D West. My name is Isaacs, and I am here bringing you another great matchup between Metapicks and the Private Potato. I want to say Private Potatoes, but it is just singular, even though there are five of them. They go as one unit. So Private Potato, both these teams coming in, unfortunately, this week at an 0-1, both dropping their week one matches. They did have some pretty tough opponents. Looking at the standings real quick, the Private Potatoes, I believe they went up against Clouded Minds. Let me double check that. No, they went against Puns Upon a Time, who are actually playing tonight over on Bankai's channel. I believe they just dropped the map, so they're down 1-0 against Maximum Thrust. But they lost to Puns Upon a Time. Meanwhile, the Metapicks, they were the ones who dropped to Clouded Minds, who are coming in looking very dominant right now. Oh, did I say Heroes Lounge Swing Time? I am so sorry. I'm at NGS. I'm transitioning. It's the second week. You're going to hear a couple bloopers from me. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. This is NGS. This is not Heroes Lounge. I need to get that out of my way. Yes, we are in week 2 of NGS, and these two teams, they're both in the lobby. Let me get you guys over to the maps real quick so we can see what is going on over on the map screen. The Metapicks, they won the coin toss, and so they elected to pick map pick first, meaning Private Potatoes get the first pick. Metapicks banned out Braxis Holdout and Towers of Doom as maps, and then the side of Private Potatoes, they banned Gardens of Terror and Tomb of the Spider Queen. So our first map that we're going to be going to is Volskaya Foundry. Looking at readies in the lobby here, making sure that we can go. Volskaya Foundry, often known for the time that it takes. It's one of those longer maps. Typically, we do see level 20s come online for both teams, so we may see some late game drafts coming in just because it has the reputation of the objective C is going to be an 18 versus level 20 fight. Oftentimes, one team is a little bit, a level and a half ahead of the other team. So we do see that 20 on 18. That doesn't mean the team that's 20 is going to win the map, but that's usually where we're at in these kinds of games. And so, wanting to make sure that everybody understands the map that we're going to. Most people watching are familiar enough with HOTS, but we do have some fans at home that may not be as familiar with the game. So I wanted to make sure they understand what's going on as well. But here we go. We're getting loaded into the draft screen. And being that these teams have only 1 week under their belts, we may only end up seeing probably some more meta picks getting banned out rather than looking for some target bans, unless they're familiar enough with each other that there might be a certain individual that does deserve that target ban. But first off, we see Chromie getting banned out. Chromie is one of those very strong champions in the meta right now. She's almost an instant pick or ban for that first pick, due to the fact that she can just provide so much burst damage on top of that drastic ultimate that can just wreak havoc on the enemy front line with those slowing sands. So Chromie getting the ban out. Hogger, again, one of those first pick or ban heroes in the meta right now. So pretty meta bans. We may see the other ones like the Diva come out and get a ban. The Gazlo get a nod. The Cassia, Zul'jin are both. We do see the Gazlo getting banned up as well. And those are the big 6 that seem to be getting the meta ban selection right now. So we'll see if that continues. Other champions that may sneak on through that I think are better on this map. The Mei, first and foremost. Mei is an excellent pickup just because of the amount of zoning potential she has over the objective that you will be fighting over. But we do see Deathwing ends up being that final ban for the side of Metapicks. Not wanting to mess with that massive dragon, even though there are, pretty good percent damage champions that will be available for, the side of Metapicks if Deathwing did go over to Private Potatoes, with the Tychus Greymane not being picked out yet. But we do see instantly first pick Nazebo. And as I mentioned, this map is known for going late. Those level 20s are almost a certainty. So Nazebo, one of those hyper scaling into the late game champions, is getting the instant lock in here from the side of Private Potatoes, due to the fact that he's feeling pretty confident he can get his stacks up and get the level 20 in this game. response coming out of Metapicks is that ETC Deckard combo. ETC being able to be a menace with the possibility of a mosh pit. Always have to worry about the mosh play potential coming out of ETC. Brightwing is a good response to that mosh potential, being able to polymorph the ETC as he power slides through, and Li Ming will be able to follow up with her Wave of Distortion to knock back that ETC if he ever decides to play a song for the side of Private Potato. And then the Deckard King, going back to it, he's going to be able to put down a lot of crowd control on the objective with his zoning potential, his stun, his stay a while and listen, or Lornadoes, whichever way. I see it go about 50-50 on Volskaya. Seemingly that the Lornadoes are starting to become a little more popular due to the fact on Volskaya, due to the fact that, again, level 20 is almost a guarantee, and then Deckard can start just popping off Lornadoes like they're nobody's business at that level 20 with the upgraded talent. So this is one of the few maps where I typically do see Deckard may pick up the Lornadoes. We'll see if he decides to go with the Stay a While as well. It's not a bad second option. You know, Stay a While is the more classic Deckard ult, but we do see the Diablo and the Sylvanas being banned out by each team respectively. I was wondering if Diablo was going to possibly sneak through and make an appearance. That is not going to be the case. Now we'll probably see either both assassins being picked up here by the side of Metapicks, or maybe they will pick our offlaner. I'm guessing they're going to leave their offlaner as their last pick, try to counter the side of Private Potatoes. So we do see a Maiev getting picked up. They do go with the offlaner. They commit to the Sonya early. Okay, so Sonya, she does fairly well being able to control that bot lane. She can go into the classic, I just want to push out the wave really fast and sustain in a team fight, or go for the single target bullying, depending upon which side of Private Potatoes decides to go. So Sonya, one of those more comfortable bruiser picks early because she can flex either way. We see the Murden and the Greymane, so the Nazeebo is going to be in the off lane, not rotating between the two lanes with the 4-man, or possibly Greymane could go to the bottom. It's still to be determined. They may end up putting that Greymane down into the bot lane so Nazeebo can get those stacks between the mid and top rotation. And Cassia somehow making it all the way to the last pick coming out here. And we do see that Wombo getting set up from the side of Metapicks here. They've got the Maiev, they've got the Cassia. It depends on what the Sonya goes here, if she goes for the Rage or if she decides to go for the Leap. Looking at the back line, or sorry, looking at the front line, being that Murden, Sonya may not need to go the Leap here just because she's not going to have much difficulty getting past a Murden. But she could always go for the Leap into the Warden's Cage, so they have that possibility of a Wombo set up there. So we'll see which way that Sonya decides to flex it. But yeah, looking at these two combinations, I mean, the late game, just the late game scaling coming out of this game for the side of Private Potato is looking absolutely insane with the Greymane and the Nazeebo. Li Ming always available to pop off, and they've got the Murden, you know, the blow up comp with the Li Ming Greymane on top of the Murden stun. So I do like the draft coming out of Private Potato. You know, they've got plenty of interrupts for the ETC with the Li Ming and Brightwing and the Murden, to be fair. You know, Cassia is going to be very strong in the early game. This early game pick potential coming from Maiev and Cassia with the ETC power slide is going to be big. So the side of Private Potato, they've got to play around that. Meanwhile, Metapicks, they've got to take advantage of the early game draft that they drafted here. You know, letting Maiev be the one to cause a lot of chaos. Maiev in the hands of a good player is a very, very terrifying thing. So we'll see what these teams are able to deliver. Let's get these teams introduced. On the side of blue team, we've got Metapicks. We got Lee Dragoon sitting on the Deckard Cain. We got Menzino sitting on the ETC. Pants sitting on the Cassia. Lompico on the Maiev there, and then we've got Toxic sitting on the Sonya. On the side of the red team, Private Potato, we've got Artful Dodger sitting on the Brightwing Varon. On the Murden, we've got DRM sitting on the Zebo, Dr. Huxtable sitting on the Li Ming, and we got Sneak on that Greymane. Quick glance real fast at these level 1 talents before the fighting starts in the middle. Nazebo going for that E-build, going for the Pandemic at level 1, so he's going to try and stack that up. Greymane going for a little bit of a poke with the perfect aim, so he's going to want to be able to poke down the opposing team as much as he can. Interesting pickup. Don't typically see that coming out of Greymane, especially when you're running the blow-up comp. Greymane usually likes to buff up his Worgen form, so he can typically provide all that extra burst in the Worgen form. But we'll see if he is able to deliver. We do see the Maiev getting stunned out, trying to land that combination, unable to do it successfully due to the fact that she got stunned out there by the Murden. And she's just going to continue to throw out that shade. Maya will be able to eventually take the shade, but already we see Sonya getting some immense pressure in the bot lane. It is going to be the Nazeebo rotating down to be that counter in the bot lane. So Nazeebo will not get himself stacked up as fast, not being in the 4-man, but he should still have no problem getting to level 20, getting stacked. ETC landing the slide onto the Murden. The Deckard root comes out, does connect onto the Murden. Maiev may take the shade, she does not. Murden, a little difficult of a target to burn down, especially with the Maiev Cassia. Remember, Maiev, not necessarily known for her damage, more for her crowd control utility, setting up the picks for her team. Greymane gets caught out here. Cassia putting down some damage, but unfortunately missing the blind. Does not put down that significant increase in damage, and that will be Greymane just walking himself out of there. No problem at all. We do see the side of Metapicks already rotating over, gonna go pick up their camp. The side of Private Potato, they should be doing the same right about now, that level 3, or trying to get a gank, some sort of aggressive play in the top lane. Murden's rotating in. He's not able to connect the stun. So ETC is able to get himself away, and so this is going to be a nice pickup on the side of Metapicks. They are going to get this camp on a relatively short cooldown and possibility to get an item advantage if they can delay the side of Private Potato from picking up their turret. You know, the goal is to pick up these turrets around that level 2, even into the level 3 range. Once you get to level 4, you're on the later side of picking up the camp. Right wing rotating down so Nazeebo could possibly go get that started off. Meanwhile, the side of Metapicks, sorry, they recognize that there are people missing. Assuming that they're on the camp, they go start up this health camp, which will give them a pretty substantial item advantage for this first objective. We do see the Greymane and the Murden trying to get some sort of vision, make sure that they recognize it, but the camp is already picked up. The objective is picked up by the Cassia. Usually you want your tank to be able to hold it, but ETC was off zoning, so Cassia electing to just pick it up herself. Maiev able to get herself away. No problem there. So, and we do see the objective starting to come online in about 20 seconds here. Brightwing polymorphing her way in. Gonna go join the fight. Meanwhile, in this bot lane, it's pretty even Steven. You know, DRM's gonna spend a lot more mana trying to just get some wave clear, get his stacks up. Sonya should be able to sustain. The fact that she went with that increase, the Furious Blow with the Shattered Ground, she is going for that single target, I want to beat you up and I want to do it now kind of build. But we do see each team going over, picking up their camps, and we do see the side of Metapicks go ahead and capture this objective, starting to channel up to that 100%, getting themselves that protector. And the camp being picked up by the side of Private Potatoes here. Right now, Metapicks, they are only on 6s. If there was ever a time for Private Potato to pick a fight, it would be now. But Metapicks, being smart, recognizing they are so close to 7s, going to back off, let Metapicks have the objective for a little while, going to go up, clear out this top lane, get their top lane pushing, create some great top lane pressure, and get their 7s. 7s now are online for the side of Metapicks. Private Potatoes only sitting on level 6. They're going to have to succeed this objective back to Metapicks unless they want to you know, start staggering over some deaths there. We still have not seen any big fight. Murden not ready quite to give it up yet. ETC knocking back, does the power slide through the Murden. Brightwing coming in. Will she get in time? She does. She heals it down, but now Brightwing is in a very deep spot. That's 1 kill going down. That is 2 kills going over to the side of Metapicks. Unfortunately, some teams recognizing that Brightwing's coming in, wanting to get that kill, get that second kill, and Brightwing teleported in right into the middle of the enemy team. Brightwing's, you know, later in the game when she gets the blink heal, it's not necessarily such a bad idea, but Murden, when he saw that Brightwing's teleporting in, probably shouldn't have put Brightwing right in the middle of the opposing team. Unfortunate miscommunication there, but we do see 7s now online for the side of Private Potato. Murden is coming back. Brightwing should be able to teleport her in. Self in, no problem here, so we will see another contestant going on over this objective. The turret is still available on the Maiev. Decker getting stunned out here from the Murden. The root goes down onto the Nazeebo and the Murden. ETC slides in, catches the Greymane. The full burst goes down on the Greymane, and Greymane is dead. Murden's caught in the middle of his own Nazeebo's walls, able to get himself away. Everybody's about at half health right now on the side of Metapicks, but they are not able to step on the side of Private Potato. This Nazeebo is very low, and that protector will get picked up by the side of Metapicks. First protector going over to them. Good fight on the objective, and they look like they're potentially going to take this bot lane. Usually the play is to take it to the top lane, get that fountain in the top lane. They did get some early pressure with those siege minions, so maybe they're not as worried about it, or setting themselves up just for successful siege. Nazeebo getting caught out a little bit here. Deckard root going down, does not connect onto anybody, and the protector is going to go and continue to siege up this front wall. It's down to about half health already, is going going to be able to pick up the second tower, but that's about it. Deckard, or sorry, that is Greymane. Greymane getting power slid there will get himself away to safety in that Worgen form. Meanwhile, Sonya just having the time of her life in this top lane, going opposite the Protector. She'll pick up that health camp, no problem at all. So maybe that was the call to put Sonya in the off lane and just being like, hey, we'll push with 4. Sonya, you go create some pressure. The side of Private Potato did not send somebody to respond to Sonya, so Sonya able to pick this up and get some pretty good top soak, and so they increased their level lead to 2 levels now, and 10s are online for the side of Metapicks, and they are looking to be aggressive over this camp and get it. Murden getting power slid. The Mosh going down onto the Murden. Murden will be locked down. This song is going to continue to play, and that is one dead dwarf, and this objective will be picked up by the side of Metapicks. Nice steal coming out. Metapick playing the early game very strong. Their comp was built around that early game pressure with the Maiev, with the ETC being able to provide that power slide. They know they have a weaker late game, so they're trying to make sure this game continues to snowball in their favor. Meanwhile, Private Potato, they got to just sit back, relax. Hey, we're only down 2 levels. We can get on even talent tiers. You know, like I said, this game typically ends up over Objective C being a level 20 versus level 18. Nazebo's sitting at about 60 stacks right now. So 60 stacks, not terrible. It does cap out at 65,000 for those at home wondering. Yes, it does eventually cap out, but 65,000, yeah, never going to happen. You're lucky if you get, I think the record I've seen is 400. And that was Tomb of the Spider Queen game that went very late. Nazebo was double soaking. So we'll see how this is going to continue to develop out here, but I think the side of Private Potatoes, they've got their plan. They just need to relax a little bit, calm down, get some of the jitters out of the way, make sure they just set up good defenses. They don't, you know, this Objective B isn't going to be the most critical thing in the world. They just need to make sure this Nazebo is continuing to stack and not getting caught out. ETC is getting fairly low here, but 10s are not quite online. Warden's Cage being popped by the Maiev there, and the objective was dropped. The healing fountain was dropped there, so that is a big win for the side of Private Potatoes. Maybe a bit of a misclick there, dropping the healing fountain. I don't expect that healing fountain to being dropped there from the support camp, so that is a pretty substantial pickup for the side of Private Potatoes, pretty much negating the item advantage that Metapicks had there. Now we see Murden rotating down. Sonya able to leap herself away, maybe a little scared of the Murden Brightwing combo in that bot lane, and so Sonya will be able to get herself to safety. Side of Metapicks, they're just waiting for their 13s to come online, and they will be able to get their 13 advantage on this objective. Now, for the side of Private Potatoes, I always say, if there ever is a talent tier to fight down, 13 is the talent tier you want to fight down. Usually 13 is where you can still make it work. You still have your heroic talents. 16 is often too much of a, there's too many critical talents that come online during the 16 phase that the teams necessarily don't want to fight down. But if there is one, 13 is where it's at. I don't know if they're going to have the opportunity to soak a level and a half before this objective ends. Depends on what Brightwing's able to do here in the bot lane. Hopefully not get caught out too bad. Sonya's able to get some damage down onto this Brightwing. Brightwing will be here just to provide soak and make sure Sonya isn't able to get any pressure, but look at what's coming in here. The side of Metapicks are rotating in as for Maiev going to go in. She's not going to take the shade. They're not going to go for the pick. Brightwing able to get herself away, no problem. Meanwhile, Fort is just going to fall. It's going to be given up. Brightwing has to give that up. The rest of the side of Private Potato, they're trying to get a little bit of a push here, but ETC is going to be able to stop it. So good pickup. They're rotating over to get this turret, maybe get another camp, but if they wanted to, you know, play for this second objective, they're letting the 13s possibly come online for the side of Private Potato. They're now in a good spot where they don't have to contest this objective. They're actually continuing to channel it, get as much of that percentage done. They should back off before 13s come online. They do have the soak in the middle and the bot lane that they should be able to get their 13s online and then re-engage on that. But Nazebo's got to get out of here. ETC was going to slide in, but nice stun by the Murden. The Greymane is caught. ETC moshing, but isn't able to catch anybody. Brightwing teleporting in. The Warden's Cage just going down. Nazebo continuing to run, getting away. Cassia is able to finish it off. Meanwhile, ETC is getting fairly low, not quite able to get finished there. The Greymane was not able to complete it. Gets himself away with the dash. The Stay a while, and this comes out onto the Murden. That is 2 kills. Cassia putting down massive damage. That is 4 kills, and this Li Ming is going to have to get herself away. Nice leap coming in from the Sonya to make sure that crowd control is locked down, and that's a full ace for the side of Metapicks. Now up to that 15. Good news for Private Potato, we do have short cooldowns. They will be able to get themselves back together and probably pick a fight before 16s come online for Metapicks, but they have to get back there right away, get grouped up, and do it all over again. They do have shorter cooldowns on their ultimates, being the fact that the Wave of Disruption and the Blink Heal are very, very short cooldowns for the Leeming and the Brightwing there. So the Maziba almost has his Gargantuan all the way back up. If they were going to pick a fight, maybe go check this camp. They are electing to pick up this siege camp, but this is just going to give more time over to the side of Metapicks, and they can't let 16s come online. If they let 16s come online, it is going to be a very, very sticky situation. Nazebo and Brightwing are still picking up this camp. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, they're up here like, guys, come on, get up here. If 16s come online, we're in big trouble. The Burden is looking for a fight. 16s just did come online. The talents have not been picked up yet. 1, 2, and the Protector goes over. So they're electing to give up everything here on the side of Private Potato and just get themselves away. And they're going to have to go defend this Protector, possibly in the mid lane, or the Protector's going to try and push for a keep here. Greymane standing right in front of the Protector saying, hey, I'm right here, try and take me down. Getting some good damage down on the Protector. This wall will go down, but they should be able to get this Protector to about half health before this wall is completely gone. They have enough poke with the Nazebo and the Leeming that they continue to poke this thing at range. The Protector and the ETC have to be that front line to get in there and try to keep this Protector healthy. Protector already under half health, sitting at about 40 HP right now. Greymane is in a very, very aggressive positioning. ETC electing not to take the power slide onto it there. And the keep down to about quarter of its health so far. Protector gonna go down here. The Deckard root coming through lands onto both the Nazebo and the Murden, and everybody backing out. So another defense coming in pretty well by the side of Private Potato, considering they were down a pretty substantial amount of experience. They need to be careful here because the side of Metapicks, ETC, unfortunately missing the power slide, does the mosh. It does catch the Murden. The Murden was out of it, but then he walked himself into the mosh range. Brightwing tried to teleport himself in, but too little too late, and the rest of the side of Metapicks, they're going to try now and force this 5v4. They do not have a wave, and nobody is face tanking it, so this is actually a really good pickup, knowing that they have the time. Brightwing is going to pick it up. Greymane's going to run. He's going to try and possibly get some double soak. He's got to be very careful, though. The entire team's coming down. Maev loves catching out isolated targets. Sneak is on the wrong side of the conveyor belt, tries to run around, tries to mount himself up, not going to get himself mounted. Sonya will be able to land the crowd control, and that will be a staggered death coming over in favor of the side of Metapicks, who are now sitting at a very commanding 11 kills to 0 in their favor. Nazebo continuing to just get himself stacked, and I mean, that's Private Potato's game plan now. They've given up 2 objectives. Their 16s will come online. They should still have a fairly decent job defending this as long as nobody dies. We have a wall and this objective online. The keep is full health. So as long as nobody gets picked and there's no siege pressure, Nazebo rotating down the wrong direction here, trying to catch a Sonya, but the rest of the team is here. Sonya is going to just turn this back around. Maev landing onto the Leeming. Nazebo's right in the middle of this Warden Cage, popping the stasis, but that's not going to save him, unfortunately. He will go down. Leeming blinking away, trying to get that Calamity to get herself to safety and able to get herself out. But again, that's another pickup for the side of Metapicks there. ETC should be able to get himself out, just power slide himself away, no problem there. But Nazebo's got to be careful. Right now, his main focus should be, let me get the rest of these stacks, so when level 20 comes online, I am ready to go. I'm locked and loaded, and I can put out the damage that my entire team is kind of banking on right now. You know, like I said, Private Potato, they've been pushed back up against a wall pretty much this entire game, but they're not out of it by any means. Even though the kills are 12 to 0 and there's about a 3-level lead, once they get 16 on 19, if they can find a fight there and get at least 2 kills, the comeback experience that they will get will be significant, and they will delay this Protector so that they and just play for the defense and then get your 20s. So a nice interrupt from the Li Ming there on the wave of disruption onto the ETC while he was mid-mosh, but Brightwing teleporting into a very sticky situation yet again. Has the blink to get herself away this time, but unable to pop it, and that will be 2 more kills and the turret being picked up. Look at everybody on the side of Metapicks has an item right now except for the ETC, and this one will go to that ETC. 5 items to 0. That's a massive item. And now the side of Metapicks, they finally hit that 16, but they do not have the members online to really create any contention. It's looking rough. It's not over. Like I said, they should be able to, as long as nobody dies, defend this bot lane. No problem at all. when the Protector does travel itself up there. The side of Metapicks, they're looking like they want to just create some siege though. They want to get their experience, get their level 20s before they go down and fight over Objective C. Maybe make that Protector just a little bit stronger when they get it. And the Li Ming and the Zebo, they're going to be able to wave clear. They're going to be able to clear this out. There's not going to be any siege potential unless Maiev is able to get a pick. And that was actually a really good spot for Maiev to possibly swap and catch out the Nazebo yet again. But we do see the side of Private Potato going down, picking up their turret camp, trying to equalize this item lead that the side of Metapicks has gotten. Meanwhile, everybody on Metapicks is just happy farming up, getting the items continually. They won't have anybody that can pick this up unless somebody did drop a turret. Nope, everybody's loaded up on items there. So right now, Decker's just kind of playing defense of their objective. Meanwhile, Brightwings, she's going to go continue to soak. So the objective is now starting to get channeled by the Cassia there. She will continue to get this thing channeled all the way up. But meanwhile, Nazebo is in a rough spot again. Maiev able to catch him out. Nazebo, you're in a wrong neighborhood, bro, and that Nazebo will go down. That is another stagger death. ETC dropping the Hell Fountain just to heal his entire team back up and then go pick up the turret. But Maiev, again, landing onto that Li Ming, and that Li Ming will go down. A good staggered death. Brightwing now teleporting in to help her team, but they're just going to have to run back up and defend this top lane. So the side of Private Potato, they're on full defense mode at this point. The objective is sitting at 47%. The rest of the Metapicks is going to start sieging up this bot lane. The more that they can cause siege pressure in this bot lane, the better, because the Protector is going to be healthier. Nobody on Metapicks. It should be just Brightwing defending here. The Murden and the Greymane should be down here defending, being able to deny all this siege pressure that's coming in, try and clear out some of this wave. But they're not. So the more keep damage that goes down from the side of Metapicks, the easier this potential end in the bot lane is going to be. Brightwing now coming in, but this keeps already at half health. Protector is online, and it's going to walk up here. Now this could be potential game ending. When this wall was up with the keep, with the amount of wave clear that the side of Private Potato had, they potentially had a pretty solid defense. Now it's a little bit of a hairier situation. I still think they can do it if they are able to utilize their team and defend well under the core, but this keep is long gone. Protector down to about 70% right now. The Deckard does land it onto the Zebo. I was going to say the Stay a While Listen did miss, but it did land on the Zebo. Murden getting boot back from the ETC into the team, and the Protector already starting to engage onto that core. The rest of the team of Private Potato that are just spreading this bouncing ball between themselves here. And the Zebo trying to do all he can. Oh, a Mosh lands onto both Greymane and the Murden there. ETC will trade his life away, but that doesn't matter. This Protector is very healthy, and this core is very, very low. This will be game one, going over in a pretty decisive faction. ETC did give up that one death at the end there, but game one going over to the side of Metapicks. Get that updated for you all real quick. Get you guys over to the stat screen. So looking at these stats and looking at the way that game kind of played itself out, I mean, the side of Private Potato, they had a game plan. They had a draft. They just didn't play the draft the way they didn't play the game the way they drafted. And so, being as aggressive as they were in the early and mid game doesn't benefit their comp at all unless they can get picks, because it's just a single target picks with the Li Ming and the Greymane, and they needed those two to just stay together with the Murden, and those three kind of try and find that pick, get the kill, let Nazebo do his farming thing, get to the late game. And Nazebo was trying to be just way too aggressive, just kind of trying to sit himself back. Meanwhile, let's give credit to where credit's due. Metapicks, they played their comp very well. They knew that they were on a timer. They knew they had to be very successful in the early game and into the mid game. The Maiev was getting excellent picks left and right. The ETC was landing power slides left and right. The Sonya got a couple of fantastic three-man leaps that was able to just keep everybody bundled up for the ETC Mosh. The Mosh was only, I want to say it was. I'm not gonna say it was successful, because there were several times where I completely agreed with, oh hey, Bankai is raiding with this party 16, so that means maximum thrust and The Puns Upon a Time, it must have already ended. That was a pretty quick series over on that channel. But thank you for the raid, appreciate it. Welcome everybody. This was the end of game one. I'm throwing up the stats for you guys right now. Metapicks versus Private Potato. This is Division D West, and it was a pretty dominant victory for the side of Metapicks. Like I said, they played their composition very well. They knew they were on a timer, and they had to play around that timer, and they were able to get those picks time and time again. And to go back to the point I was trying to make, a lot of people try to be like, okay, I'm ETC. I want to land those moshes under like 2, 3, 4 members, get that big mosh. That's not necessarily the sign of a success for an ETC player. You'll learn as you get further into the game that, if you can lock down and get a secured kill as an ETC, as with a single man mosh, which he did onto that Murden twice, that's a successful mosh, because now you've created a 5v4 situation with a team comp that is centered around getting more picks. The power slide is really the main component for the ETC. The mosh is just kind of a perk to really lock them down long period. But so the ETC did play those moshes well, missed a couple in the late game. Li Ming did get a nice interrupt on one of them, but all in all, very well played by the side of Metapicks. Looking at some of these talents before while we wait to get into this game number 2 here. Li Ming going more for that W orb build, trying to just get as much damage from max range, put off that damage as much as she could, which is good. You want to get that poke with the composition, especially with the blow up comp, with the Murden and the Greymane there. Greymane deciding to go for the throat though. I don't know if I necessarily would have gone that, being the fact that they had the ETC and Sonya. ETC is one of those lower health tanks, so he doesn't necessarily need the cursed bullet, but it's not bad to have that, instant 40% delete of their health on top of the Li Ming W and then Greymane jumping in. It basically sets Greymane up for, once I get Cursed Bullet off, if it hits, Li Ming puts her W out on that person, I can already commit to jumping in on that target. And it could be any target on the side of Metapicks there. So go for the throat. You kind of got to wait till they get pretty darn low and then end them with the go for the throat. And really the only targets that you're looking for is the Cassia. But I could see the argument made, either way. The Zebo, pretty standard with the Gargantuan. Wave of Force, appropriate for when you're going in against an ETC, but that Warden's Cage light bomb from the Maiev and Cassie was pretty devastating there. So all in all, good game one. Let me get you guys back over to the map screen so you can see what we have possibly coming forward here. So game one ended. Metapicks take the lead 1-0 in this series. We do still have 5 maps available to go to. We've got Alterac Pass, big map. Battlefield of Eternity, big map. Cursed Hollow, big map. Infernal Shrines, big map. So we got 4 really big maps still available to play. And then we've got Dragonshire, which plays a little similar to Volskaya. As far as you will, and it has its subtle nuances. Instead of being that 4-man rotating between 2 lanes, usually you have a double soaker, unless you want to go for more of a brawly offlaner, and they just control the point, in which case you may have like a mage rotate between bot and mid. So we'll see if Dragonshire ends up being the map that we go to, or if we go to one of these bigger maps, which if Private Potato's like, hey, we like to play macro play a little better. I think Metapicks played macro play very well on Volskaya for how small of a map it is there. So, bigger maps typically favor more of a macro style. So maybe Metapicks is going to be looking pretty successful. But if I was Private Potato, I would get myself on a map that we were pretty confident on, and try and even this series up one apiece there, because Metapicks definitely came out looking fairly strong in that game one. Looking at seeing what these teams are doing. Still don't have any signs of an invite here. Let me see if I just got a message from one of them. Give me 1 second. All right, still looking on what we're gonna do for a potential map here. But yeah, I mean, I think the side of Private Potato, they definitely had a game plan. I'm not worried. They had a game plan, and they just got kind of knocked off their game plan a little bit and didn't necessarily play to the strength. I'm curious if we go to Private Potato reverse sweeps him here. You know, if I can get the Greymane in here, because looking at his build in here, it's a little unorthodox for a Greymane build. So curious to see what the mentality was going into going for more of the poke Greymane build. When there wasn't a lot of, you know, a fall. I mean, they already had Li Ming for the substantial amount of poke that Li Ming provides. And there were several instances where both ETC and Sonya got away with like a sliver of health, which Greymane had gotten more for the all-in burst kind of build with his Worgen form. He may have been able to finish off a couple of those kills. You know, we could play the hindsight 2020. You know, I didn't really pay too much attention to how effective the poke was coming out of the Ghanaian cocktail, but he didn't pair it with the level 7 talent, cocktail talent as well, giving himself that little extra damage. So I'm not entirely sure what the strategy was there. There we go. Just made. Okay, but I still don't have an invite to it. There we go. Got the invite to the second. We're going to go to Infernal Shrines. Let me see who picked the map. And then once I figure out who picked the map, I'll get that updated for you guys. But we are going to Infernal Shrines, which is a bigger map and one of the more enjoyable ones. And it was, okay, so Private Potato, they got the choice of first pick or map pick. They elected to go for a first pick again. So they had first pick in game one, used it on to lock in the Nazebo. And Metapicks took us to Volskaya. And now here we are in game number 2. They elect to go for first pick again, so Metapicks are going to take us to Infernal Shrines. Infernal Shrines, a 3-lane map. Typically, you see the 4-man rotating between the mid and the top lane, fighting over all those objective camps, those 3 juicy objective camps between that middle and bot lane, and the offlaners being in that top lane by themselves. Usually, we see more of the brawly top laners come in here, but we did see a Sonya in the last game, and this is one of Sonya's best maps. I'm gonna say, just because of the wave clear potential she has on the objective, and then that means you could send somebody else into an off lane to potentially pick up the double soaking experience there. So we're going to. I'm just waiting to see if this is. Did I get both of these set up right? I did. Okay. Just making sure. Somebody's going to have to clarify. I'm going to double check on the website real quick as we go through this to make sure that they didn't swap teams on me, because that has happened before, and it makes me really sad when that happens, because then I have to do a bunch of things. But they didn't swap teams on me. They're still on their right sides. They just have the first pick going over to the wrong individuals. So right now they have it set up so that Metapicks is there we go. Now they got it changed. They had it set up so Metapicks got to pick the map and they got first pick, and I was like, hold on, you don't want to do that. You want to you don't want to have both. That would be pretty unfair, I would imagine. It's a new season, everybody. Like I said, I came out and I said the wrong league right at the beginning of the cast, so we're getting all these early season kinks out of the way here. You know, teams giving themselves both first pick and map pick. Casters saying the wrong league when they're coming in, because, you know, I cast for multiple different leagues, and I just, yeah, that was silly. Thank you for whoever caught that in chat, though. But here we go, game 2, Infernal Shrines. So now we get to see the adjustments being made from the side of Private Potato. Are they going to elect to ban the Sonya? They do have first pick, so maybe they'll just take the Sonya. But are they going to ban the Sonya from the side of Metapicks, as it was played fairly well by the side of Metapicks, and it is very strong on this champion? Or are we going to continue to see the typical meta bans like the Chromie again coming through? Gazlo, Hogger, all those similar bans may make an appearance. I would definitely at least look at possibly banning the Sonya, maybe giving a nod to the Cassia as well. So that, you know, TBD, but we do see already a shift. Diablo was last banned from the side of Metapicks. Now it is first banned from the side of Metapicks. Diablo, you know, I don't. There are a couple maps where Diablo doesn't do well on, but this isn't one of his best maps. But he's still very strong on this map. There are a lot of walls around the objective, so Diablo has plenty of room to land his stuns, and also he can land significant APOCs on the objective when a fight breaks out over it. So Diablo getting the nod here, Hogger getting the second nod, and Deckard getting banned out. So they don't want to deal with Deckard, who again can set up some pretty good crowd control around the objective and keep his team. You know, if the team can get there first, can set up those potions in that early game. But some of the fun things I like to see on Infernal Shrines, I mean, maybe we'll see like a taunt variant Stukov coming out here, since neither of those are banned, and the side of Metapicks could easily pick those up as their 1-2 pick. And that is actually very, very terrifying on this map because of the fact that you can combo that with the Punisher if your team can get the Punisher and just land stun after stun after stun after stun and just push your way down a lane. It's pretty effective. We do see the Stukov being picked up, but we see a Sonya coming in instead. So like I mentioned, Sonya was one of those big players coming out from the side of Metapicks on that last map. They are electing to go with the Sonya. Now we'll see if the side of Private Potato goes, okay, we don't want to see that taunt variant coming out with that Stukov because that's pretty deadly. They did get a D.Va, which D.Va does very well fighting over the objective, being able to put her mech bomb on the objective and zone off everybody or pick some up as well. They pick up the Anduin and the Jaina. So Jaina, I like Jaina into a Sonya because she can provide a lot of peel and basically negate Sonya from healing off of her E if she can land a good chill, but that only comes late into the game. So her early game pressure, she has a lot of burst. It's not as strong as it used to be, and it takes time to scale that burst up. But later in the game, Jaina will be able to provide an immense amount of burst. If they don't have anybody to combo with the Ring of Frost, I definitely think Water Elemental's coming out here for the Jaina. Meanwhile, Anduin, good, safe healer, going to be able to provide a lot of healing for their team, a lot of burst healing onto one target, and some substantial AoE. Also being able to pull people when they're in a rough situation, since they had a little bit of trouble with getting caught out in the last game. Anduin's going to be a better healer to get them out of that situation than a Brightwing would be. So now we get to see the side of Metapicks. What do they decide to tank with that Stukov? Do they elect to go with a variant, or do they decide to go with like a Johanna? Okay, so they do go with the Johanna here instead, which is fine. You can still lock down targets with a Blessed Shield, and it combos well with the Cassia that they also got to pick up again. So they got Cassia again in a game 2, and now they have a Johanna, which pairs very nicely with it. So we do see the Johanna, Sonya, Stukov kind of group them all up, burn them down combo, and Stukov just puts his Puddle of Silence down on top of it. We'll see what they decide to go with the mage later in the game, but we do see a Garrosh and a Kira being picked up here. Kira, maybe one of those special characters from Dr. Huxtable. Maybe he was holding on to that pick for a little bit. You know, Kira does do well into Sonya in the off lane. She will be able to bully that Sonya around a bit, and we do see the Garrosh being the rounding out of that composition. Although, you know, Kira has to kind of be. Well, Kira's not going to be. She's going to be in the 4-man because they do have a D.Va. You know, I'm looking at these compositions, like how they're going to work this out. So, D.Va will kind of go even. Sonya will be able to bully off if Sonya goes the same build that she went last game. She'll be able to bully the D.Va off, but Kira will be able to counter the Sonya. Will we see D.Va in the 4-man now? I doubt it, because there's a Tychus pickup now, so Kira will do better in the 4-man, do the Tychus. A lot of stuff transpiring here, but I do like the Tychus to round this entire comp off, be able to shred down that Garrosh very easily. So Garrosh has to be a lot more safe with his how aggressive he's decided to be with some of those engages, looking for some of those picks. So overall, I really like the comp that I've seen roll out from Metapicks. It seems like they have very good draft strategies coming into these games. They have an idea and they draft their composition that way. Private Potato, as I said in the last game, I don't like their composition nearly as much. But if they're comfortable with that composition, if they're got a very good Kira player, and if they can again play their composition the right way, then I could see it being successful, especially later in the game, if Garrosh being able to land some of those big taunts on 2, 3, 4 members, because the Johanna and the Sonya are going to be very, very aggressive. The problem is they don't have a great way outside of the Kira's slow damage over time to deal with the big front line that's coming out of Metapicks. They don't have a lot of ways to handle that. The Jaina is not the best one to deal with that. So we'll see how this game 2 plays out. That's why we play the games. On the side of blue, we got Metapicks, we got Manzino sitting on the Johanna, we got Lee Dragon sitting on the Stukov, we got Pants on the Cassia, Lumpico sitting on the Tychus, and we got Toxic still sitting back here on the Sonya. Meanwhile, Private Potato, we've got Dr. Huxtable sitting on that Kira, we got Sneak sitting on the Jaina, Varian on the Anduin, Nice Beaver sitting on the Garrosh, and we've got Artful Dodger sitting on the Diva. Looking at some of these level 1 tiles when we go through this real quick, we do see the quarterback coming out of the Tychus going for a little bit more of that burst damage early in the game, mainly targeted towards the Jaina, the Anduin, the Kira. Since he's figuring the Kira is probably going to be in the 4-man, he's going to have a lot of more single target burst to pair off of his minigun when he's able to bleed somebody down. So we will see if he's able to get some of those picks with the Cassia, being able to put down a lot of that just burst damage onto whatever target's caught out. And, oh, by the way, Garrosh is going to be even squishier with that extra burst that's going to come down. And also giving Tychus the ability to poke from a little bit safer range. But we do see Tychus going down, rotating down, the 4-man coming down as well. Garrosh looking like he's trying to be a little aggressive here. Nobody's here to really follow up on that. Does land the combo, so it's a good combo land from the Garrosh, but nobody was there to follow it up. The pool goes down. Garrosh getting himself fairly low. Tychus is sitting low as well, but everybody kind of having to back off. Maybe there's a little bit of miscommunication. Garrosh is like, guys, I got this, and everybody else is like, no, I'm not following there. But we do see the Diva and the Sonya, or sorry, Diva and the Kira beating up on the Sonya. Meanwhile, there is a fight already transpiring over this bot lane. Johanna getting this Garrosh fairly low. Garrosh, oh, barely missing the throw. I still think Johanna, since she had Iron Skin, would have been able to get away through this bottom lane, but this is going to be first camp secured by the side of Metapicks here. Meanwhile, Private Potato, they're responding and trying to pick up their own camp as well. Jaina very, very low on the mana pool already, which is one of the things that Jaina has trouble with in the early game. She will be able to fix that once she picks up Arcane Intellect at level 4, allowing herself to be able to keep her mana pool a little bit higher. She did not go for the globes at level 1, so she will not have that extra mana regeneration that we want to see on a Jaina, but she does have the increased chill, so she's going to keep Johanna and Sonya slower a lot longer, and it's going to pair well with the Water Elemental at level 10 if that's where she wants to go. So she's sacrificing a little of that mana pool and a little bit that early game damage, you know, scaling into the late game as well. So a little less damage, but a lot more CC utility coming out of the Jaina here. Meanwhile, Sonya, she's just kind of bullying through this top lane, not having a problem dealing with this Diva at all, actually out-soaking fairly well. And we do see the side of Metapicks going over and starting their camp pretty much on a good timer. They want to get this right around the 240 mark, especially since this camp is going to be starting around that bot lane. So the Shrine will be online soon. If they're able to pick this up right around that 240, they're going to have a really good timer on that camp. Meanwhile, the side of Private Potato, they haven't even started their siege camp. They're just rotating down. They should have gotten somebody to go on this. I know Jaina's been having a little bit of mana issues, so maybe she wasn't able to get there, but Kira was fully topped off and just electing to go into this bot lane. So this is going to be a very good early game, again, coming out of Metapicks. They're going to have that passive pressure in the top lane. Sonya may just say, I'm going to park it here and get as much, you know, give up this first objective, since the first objective isn't very much, and it is a Mortar Punisher, so now the call should definitely be, I don't even want this objective, let's just push up in here. Diva is sacrificing a lot of experience and a lot of damage, and she's getting herself very low, not even able to pick up that camp, so she has to get herself away. Meanwhile, Garrosh electing to go in. Tychus putting that minigun damage down onto the Garrosh. Garrosh getting himself very low. Cassie getting some nice burst damage onto the Jaina and the Anduin. Everybody backing out. Sonya now here, but Sonya's like, dude, they're all low. I could probably peace out because I'm not really needed. Electing to go for this first camp. Ooh, a nice 2-man condemn coming out of the Johanna there, and Garrosh getting down. The Yeet of Faith was not able to be completed by the Anduin, and Garrosh is the first to fall. Kira now trying to get in, do some sort of damage. Jaina poking, but you guys already lost your Garrosh. I would try and find some soak anywhere you can get it. It looked like Diva tried to get this camp a second time, and it's just getting bullied by that camp, so she's wasting a lot of time trying to pick up that camp. That camp is already too far too gone, but the rest of the team trying to get Diva is down here. She puts on the mech bomb. The objective's already at 33. Maybe they can get the kill on the Johanna. Johanna able to get herself away. Should be able to get healed up. No problem at all from this Stukov. Meanwhile, the rest of Private Potato, they're trying to fight over this. Sonya just spinning to winning over here, getting up 2 of those objectives. They only need 5 with the Cassie and the Stukov. That shouldn't be a problem, but the Garrosh coming in, trying to get a catch onto one of these squishy targets there. Not able to find it and connect. Sonya sitting up in this top bush, looking to come in. Kira is completely out of mana here. Anduin is in the back line, out of mana as well. Jaina is out of mana as third. There's 3 members on the side of Private Potato just completely out of mana there. The Mortar Punisher is being picked picked up by the side of Metapicks, and they are going to siege with it. It's jumping over onto the D.Va there. D.Va getting sort of fairly low, but the jump was before the wall, so this Punisher is going to be able to clear out this front wall and get a second jump. No problem at all here. Everybody needs to be a little bit careful. D.Va's very low. Janet, you have to be super careful there, but both members getting stunned out, both Garrosh and the D.Va. Garrosh goes down. D.Va getting fairly low herself in Baby D.Va form. Tychus has to be careful. He is tanking a couple tower shots there, should get himself away. Anduin is here to kind of try and save the day with the soak. Meanwhile, Sonya, she's up doing her own thing here, now being rotated up instead of the D.Va to handle the Sonya. So D.Va's going to be in this 4-man. Maybe this is going to be a permanent switch, but this fort's gone. This Punisher is still at half health. The rest of Metapicks, they're electing not to continue to push with the Punisher. Instead, they're going to rotate up and try to get these camps, play to get their level 10s, and live to fight another day kind of deal. But that was an immense amount of value being picked up by the side of Metapicks there, and they're going to get this camp for good measure. So already we see another strong early game coming out on the side of Metapicks here, getting 3 kills to 0 and the objective, and taking that objective all the way down into a fort. Meanwhile, we do see the second camp being picked up, while the side of Private Potato, they're having to deal with this first siege camp. Kira is going to be looking like committing to being that solo laner against the Sonya, which is a better matchup for the side of Private Potatoes. Unfortunately, D.Va in the 4-man is not the best place that you want her, but once she gets to level 10, having those micro missiles may be able to help give a little more of that CC and damage down. Garrosh wanting past the Stukov silence and then deciding he thought better of it. Meanwhile, we're still getting somebody on Private Potato to try to deal with this. Now it's Jaina committing to it. And, uh-oh, this is not good. Jaina, you got to go. Blessed Shield does get popped out. Tychus is like, see ya, you're gone. Anduin is stuck in the middle of that Silence Pool, getting himself fairly low. Meanwhile, Garrosh, he's got to get himself away. And that is this camp. They tried so many times to pick up this camp, but unfortunately, the side of Metapicks, recognizing that they could be a little aggressive with the 10s online, found Jaina sitting fairly low there, and were able to pick off the 2 kills and then get the camp themselves. Garrosh trying to get this camp cleared with the Kira, but both members are very low. Garrosh, you got to be careful. You do not want to continue to stagger these deaths. Just kind of, this fort is gone. Garrosh is trying to defend it as best he can, but the side of Metapicks they're going to continue to just bully this Garrosh around. Jaina is here to provide some of that burst damage, but not able to do so. The side of Metapicks able to just get themselves away and go start soaking up. A 10's now coming online for the side of Private Potato. We do see the micro missiles being picked up by the D.Va, the challenge, the light bomb by the Anduin. Jaina going for that Ring of Frost at 10. I mean, it can pair well with the Warlord's challenge, but the Garrosh has to land it first. But at this point, with the engage and the level lead coming out from the side of the Metapicks there, and the build that she was electing to go, I would have imagined she was going to go with that Water Elemental. But she's going for that Ring of Frost. It's higher risk, higher reward kind of deal than the Water Elemental. Water Elemental is much safer and provides more of that consistent damage. Ring of Frost, if you can land it big, you're going to score big. If it whiffs, then it whiffs kind of deal. So we'll see with the Jaina. It definitely pairs well with the D.Va, D.Va Bomb. So they're going for the big play here with the Ring of Frost out of the Jaina there. And maybe they'll be able to land it with the Light Bomb. So we'll see. Sonya's sitting here. She's waiting. Jaina kind of walking around, does see the Sonya electing to back off there. Smartly so, and D.Va's going to go respond to this siege camp there. Everybody's kind of over this bottom right now. Meanwhile, the objective is in the mid, and it will be a Frozen Punisher second here. That is going to be a big win for Metapicks if they can get it, and that'll be a big win if Private Potato can somehow pick this up. But they got to find this fight. Like I said, if there's ever a talent to fight down, 13 is the talent to fight down. D.Va is starting to provide some of that poke. Garrosh walking himself in there, not on his mount, so he will not be able to get all the way in. Tychus already popping the Odin there. Light Bomb going down onto the Garrosh, only lands on the Johanna, but she had the Iron Skated Bomb. We do see the D.Va Bomb going down. Ring of Frost does not land onto anybody there, and now all ultimates have been burned by the side of Private Potato. Meanwhile, the entire side of the Metapicks have most of their ultimates online, and now they are starting to push in. Castillo throwing out the ball of lightning. It is bouncing, but it won't bounce any further, but The count right now is about 20 to 16 in favor of the Private Potatoes. Jaina putting down some more of that damage and doing healing everybody off. They are very low. Garrosh throwing the Tychus back into the back line. Does not have the taunt to follow it up. Stukov able to heal everybody pretty much back up to full health there. Nice healing coming out of the Stukov. Cassia chasing off Baby Diva. Nice pull by the Anduin to keep the Kira alive, but this objective is going to go over to the side of Metapicks. Jaina looking like she's going to try and go pick this off. Cassia did end up, chasing that Baby Diva down, getting the kill there. Kira looking to re-engage onto the Stukov, but she does not have any real damage to put down against the burst, and Jaina now in a really, really rough spot. She's got really nowhere good to run. Cassia's in there. Unfortunately, Cassia missing the Q, and Jaina should be able to get herself away as long as... Oh, nope, never mind. Nice grenade coming out of the Tychus there to knock Jaina back into the rest of his team, using that last little bit of mana that he had. And that is a 4-for-0 kill with a Frozen Punisher. This fort is gone, and now the Frozen Punisher, if it hops over, it's going to turn off this keep, and this is going to be a very, very big siege coming out of the side of Private Potato. It is jump in front, so it will only turn off these towers, so they do have a little bit of time to burn down with the Diva and the Kira when she gets here, but they're looking like they're potentially wanting to set up for another fight. Nice pool coming down from the Stukov, kind of zoning everybody off there. Kira putting down the ultimate. The Protector does jump onto the Diva there. Diva taking a lot of damage. Blessed Shield does come out. Diva getting forward into Baby Mech forward. There's a huge Ring of Frost coming out of the Jaina right there. Lands on the forward. Garrosh taunt on top of that. Stukov having to run for his life, and the Johanna. But oh, big jump in by the Protector there. Able to deny any follow-up. And this may be Anduin going down. Stukov did go down to the Kira. Kira's still continuing to chase, see if she can get anything else. Anduin is like just hanging on by a thread there. But Jaina, the only one handling this, has got to get dealt with. Nobody decided to stay and fight it, and this Punisher may just get a keep. He does jump back onto the Jaina. Jaina trying. Oh no! Jaina gets killed by the Punisher, gets rooted out, and this Punisher is going to get the value. It does pick up the keep after all. So they got a little tunnel vision there, trying to pick up. The Jaina did land that Ring of Frost, so we've already seen 50-50, sink or swim with the Ring of Frost. It's a high risk, high reward. We saw the risk at the first one. We saw the reward with the second one. Even being down, a level, that Ring of Frost Wombo was able to just provide so much burst. Stukov wasn't able to keep that healing up, and Diva again trying to 1v1 this camp, still trying to 1v1 this camp. She has her ultimate online. Maybe she's planning on just using the ultimate to zone everybody off. Now pops out, does not use the ultimate. Garrosh just gets locked and deleted. Diva trying to run as best she can, but this is another camp steal by the side of Metapicks there. Meanwhile, in this mid lane, we do see the Jaina and the Kira just trying to clear all this out, but everybody's rotating in. The Kira is in a little rough position, able to get herself away pretty easily. Jaina gonna rotate all the way back. I don't believe they can end here. There's just too short of cooldowns, not enough camps, so if there is a potential throw play being made, this is kind of where it is. If Jaina can land a good Ring of Frost here, this could be where they decide to make their comeback. The side of Metapicks are electing to back up. Now Kira deciding to go in, takes the chains, but the Stukov is going to heal everybody up. Garrosh is here, throws a Diva forward. Diva running in, the light bomb and the taunt landing onto 2 members. The Ring of Frost going down, lands onto 2 members as well. That will be a dead Tychus. Diva bomb going to land. That's going to be a dead Cassia. Sonya is going to try and get herself away there, but I don't know if Garrosh is going to have the chance to go steal her. Everybody is mounting up, trying to get their leap going down. That's pretty much the end of that. This needs to go get answered by the side of Private Potato. They are continuing to be a little ton of it. Nope, now they've learned their lesson. They're like, guys, we've seen this story before. It didn't end well. Let's go back. Let's clear our bases out. Nobody's still answering this. This Siege Minion's like, dude, I'm going to keep doing this all day long. Jaina now finally coming back up here. She's not hitting the Siege Minion in the back, so this will be, unfortunately. She's now hitting it. Will she get it in time? Ah, unfortunate. And that is a second keep being picked up by the side of Metapicks there, getting good value out of the camp plays. So we do see some signs of life from Private Potato in this mid to late game with their combos. Unfortunately, they are losing a lot in the macro game right now, and it's going to be very tough to come back. If there was a time, I mean, they've been taking advantageous fights when they get them. They do have 16 versus 18. They are rotating down as 5. It does look like the side of Metapicks is looking like they may want to try and steal this camp, but all 5 members are here. The shield goes down. The Blessed Shield goes down. Jaina's here, but that's a 4-man condemned down to the Garrosh. Garrosh lands at an equal number of Warlord's taunt. That's a 1-for-1 trade so far. DPS for the tank there. And Baby Diva is now, the leap goes down, but it does not connect. Jaina does have the Ring of Frost. Anduin's Light Bomb is there. They do have ultimate advantage, but they're not going to take it. They're not going to throw a Light Bomb onto Kira and try to do this. They're just going to trade the 1v1. They're going to go back up and answer this Siege Minion in the top lane. But, I think they had that there. Like if they put the light bomb down onto the Garrosh and the Garrosh lands that Warlord's challenge, they may have thrown the Ring of Frost down and had their wombo combo work one more time. But electing to be a little more passive on that one. Save it for another fight. Garrosh will have about 13 seconds advantage on the Tychus for this first objective. So as long as Private Potato can clear out these minions, get here and just delay for the Garrosh, this is another good fight for them. 20s are not online for the side of Metapicks. Private Potato, they've got a chance here. They're starting to clear out the minion. They're rotating up. Johanna is just sitting in that bush. D.Va getting back inside her mech hero, rotating herself all the way around. There is 23 minions already being picked up. Garrosh is now here. He's rotating back. He may catch this Cassie or this Sonya. Throws the minion. Unfortunate. And misses the Warlord Chant. Oh no. They looked like they were on the right rotation there. They still got the 20 advantage. They, the side of Private Potato, or Metapicks, they got to get in there to finish off this objective if they want it. The Johanna going in, lands 2-man condemn, 2-man blessed shield. Light bomb goes down and lands onto 2 members there. Everybody just clumping up on the side of Private Potato there though. And Cassia is like, yes, please, I'll take another one of that. Getting 2 kills. Sonya jumping in. That is 3 kills. Jaina trying to run. Oh, the Stukov misses the W. That is unfortunate, but still, Cassia was like, hey, you guys are all just bundling up there. I'm going to get this. Can she land the Q? She misses the first Q. She will get a second one here in a second. Misses the second Q, but Johanna's like, don't worry, I got you. Lands the Condemn. This is a Arcane Punisher coming in. This is 40-second death timers from the side of Private Potato, and I believe this is the writing on the wall. 20s online. Baby D.Va going to do all she can, try and get one last shot to get into her mech and stall as long as she can. But Garrosh and Anduin both will not be online for 12 more seconds. 5 members all online for the side of Metapicks. The Punisher coming in, beating everything down. That Arcane Punisher is going to be able to do so much damage. Baby D.Va now having to run for her life. The Punisher beating up this core, and this will be game number 2 going over to Metapicks. Alrighty. So, pretty strong showing from Metapicks in this series. I really liked how they drafted. I think they had a very good draft strategy in both games, game 1 and game 2, and they played their comp exactly the way they needed to play their composition. I think Private Potato definitely showed some more cohesion in that game 2, and they definitely showed the strength with the landing that wombo combo there in a couple of those clutch fights. But unfortunately, their early game, Metapicks was just taking advantage of them in the early game, so they got kind of in a deep hole, and it's really tough to come out of those situations when you're losing map pressure all over the map and not able to get yourself back into it. Even though you win one of those big team fights, everything's pushed in and you got to go deal with all these minions in your base, and you don't have time to go get an objective to kind of try and relieve some of the map pressure that's being put on you. So good game by Metapicks, and well played by Private Potato in that second game. We did see the Jaina starting to connect, 24,000 damage. Like I said, her damage doesn't really scale up on Jaina to the later game. She did decide to go, she kind of just went this really weird hybrid build, electing to go for that Blizzard in the late game. But she was sitting fairly close to the team fights for going for, the increased range on the cold to cold and the increased range on the Blizzard. So, maybe something to learn. That's why we review some of these videos as a team, is look at these videos and be like, oh, okay, my positioning could have been a little bit better, knowing that I had longer range stuff. But man, the Sonya's leap getting massive value again, coming in, landing onto that Jaina and that Anduin several times. I think at least 2 times that I remember the Sonya was able to land a nice leap in there. And so, unfortunately, it is so late, guys. I don't think I'm going to be doing an interview tonight. I usually do with my earlier games, but I think tonight I'm going to skip out on the interview and possibly get one in down the road with this Metapicks team. Or you know what? Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna unfortunately skip out on the interview tonight, but good games all around. This was let me see what I have coming up for the rest of this week. I know it's getting fairly late. Thanks everybody so much for hanging around and sticking with it. It was a lot of fun watching these 2 Division D teams battle it out here. But this was this last game of the night. Oh no, there still is one going on over on another channel. So maybe I'll send us over to that one if for those interested in still seeing some of these games play out. But uh, all the games for tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, there's really just not that many games for NGS on this upcoming weekend. So I didn't. I was gonna pick one up if one got scheduled, but doesn't look like there are many scheduled. Um, did a lot of casting this week, and so next week. I haven't set out my schedule yet for next week. I got to change in work hours next week, so I got to play around that. But I usually cast these later evening games, which I enjoy, and seems to be with the West team. But if you enjoyed the cast, if you want to see more of what I am able to cast in some of the matches, drop a follow. I always make sure I throw out an alert before I set up the cast, so everybody knows that there will be a game going on. I ranged my cast tonight. We went to Division D. I've done all the way from Heroic down to Division E. I like to just mix it up week to week to see a little bit of different skill. But um, yeah, once my schedule gets finalized, I'll throw it up on my Twitch channel. You'll be able to see what casts I have coming up. I should get like 2 or 3 in next week for sure, and then we'll see moving forward. But yeah, so just drop a follow. I appreciate all of you guys' support coming out. It was great to see you all tonight. Thanks to Metapicks and Private Potatoes for giving us a pretty good show tonight. I really enjoyed this matchup, seeing some fun comps and seeing each team play their comps to their strengths. So that's where I'll close off this stream. Have a fantastic night, everybody. Hopefully, I will see you in the Storm League one of these nights. Let me check this last stream, possibly set up a raid so we can go get a little bit more action going on. Nope, it looks like that one is over as well. So I'm just going to say good night, everybody. Have a fantastic evening. Hopefully, I see you in Storm League. Have a wonderful night. Thanks again. Take care, all.